why is Sundar Pichai taking this approach? I mean, clearly this person felt a little bit isolated, or he wouldn't have, written a memo that long. But he had just attended a diversity clinic, and if he had other ideas about how the company wanted to be run, then he didn't fit in the company, clearly.
Well, I think that's the subject of a lot of debate, like whether someone who held these views that were, generally not popular at Google should have been fired. And in the end, Google decided to fire him. And it's right, the CEO, Sundar Pichai, is coming back to discuss it with the company on Thursday. But it was just, it was a tough decision for Google. But yeah, they chose to fire him on Monday. And he did say in a new interview that was published late last night that one of the primary motivations for him to write this memo was that he had gone to a diversity training at Google and felt that the things that he was being told there were things that he didn't agree with, or that and also that the tone was one of shaming, was the word that he used, that, oh, you can't say these things because that's sexist. I mean, I think he had a bad reaction to that and decided, he really wanted to do some research of his own and publish this memo. And I think he would say also that he's not alone in holding these opinions at Google and outside of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a diversity training session, so presumably the people doing the teaching were trained in this. They weren't just passing judgment. However, let's toss to a soundbite from the man himself, James Damore, and see exactly how he explains it.
I mean, a lot of this came from me seeing some of the problems in our culture at Google, where a lot of people that weren't in this groupthink just felt totally isolated and alienated. And so there were many people that came to me and just said, yeah, I'm thinking of leaving Google because this is getting so bad. And so I really thought it was a problem that Google itself had to fix.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. In one way, you wonder why this is even getting any attention. He's not an expert in anything other than what he was working at. So, it's not like he can speak for a whole class of people. Or is he speaking for a class of people? Is there a potential class action suit or something here?
Well, I don't know about a class action suit, but I would say that ideologically he believes that he's representing a minority, but a strong minority set of views at Google. People who believe that Google's efforts to diversify its workforce maybe cross into illegal discrimination. I was just earlier watching a second YouTube interview that he's done with another YouTube personality, in which he really goes into a little more detail about the Google training, in which he says that, the pressure that he saw put on groups at Google to diversify their workforce led some groups to do illegal practices. He didn't really clarify even further what that meant, but it's clear that I think, he believes that there was something wrong going on, and I think he would say that he doesn't think he's the only one. He says in the same interview earlier that he has gotten a lot of notes of support from people within Google. He's also had a lot of support from outside Google, in particular media outlets and other personalities who tend to be associated with kind of far-right ideology, and it's been interesting. He chose to go to these two YouTube channels, or these two YouTube personalities, to do his first interviews. They tend to be pretty sympathetic to his views.